Look at your beard.
Let me see what he says. Yeah, put it in, hang it from here.
Hold on.
Joe.
Video playback interrupted. Please try again. Well, I don't know if we're live.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Bill? Ready?
Yep.
John? Yes. Vernon Town Board of Supervisors meeting for June 21st, 2018 at 6 p.m. will come to order. All rise for the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Chairman Thomas Byrd.
Present.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Present.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Present.
Supervisor Ed Moline.
Present.
Supervisor Bill Craig.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, do you have a quorum? Your board president and DPW Director John Henneberry is here also.
Open meetings are compliant.
Mr. Chairman, the agenda was posted inside and outside the Vernon Town Hall to the media, to businesses, to the Town of Vernon website. You're in full compliance with the open meetings law.
And 5, public comments. Are there any public comments? Come up and state your name, and we'll give you 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Okay.
My name is Charles Stock. My wife and I live on Vista Del Tierra. We're kind of dinosaurs. We've been there for 40 years now. There are some of our friends there have been living there for even longer than that. The time we lived there, everybody has had rummage sales, graduation parties, pool parties, summer parties, birthday parties, all kinds of parties. And all these family get-togethers, they all are going to have something in common. Generally, some people have to park on the street. Not everybody's got huge driveways that can accommodate all these cars. So I looked on YouTube the other night about the town board meeting where a woman addressed the town board about she's having a problem. She feels there's a problem with too many rummage sales. And she asked the board, from what I could hear, because the video and the audio wasn't the greatest, but what I could get out of it, she was just asking, is there something that can be done to limit the amount of rummage sales? And that was there was no discussion that we had heard, and that was the end of it. Thank you very much and goodbye. I didn't catch her asking anything about no parking signs. Our street is not even a through street. It's a cul-de-sac. So most of our traffic, which isn't a whole lot, is people living there or if you're visiting those people. All right, so we don't have that much traffic. I didn't see anywhere, I may have missed it, but I didn't see any public discussion on the subject from the board. But all of a sudden we found out why you're marking all these gas lines and everything. Well, we find out we're going to get these no parking signs on both sides of the street for our whole street for the summer. One minor thing of that is, of course, the expense of our tax dollars. That's very minor, though. I feel the idea of posting these no parking signs for the whole street that's going to affect 25 families during the summer is not a reasonable solution. If the town board feels they should limit the amount of rummage sales for one family can have during a certain amount of time, by all means, change the ordinance or add some kind of regulation. That would be reasonable for the people. I mean, if you feel you have to have a no parking sign, put it in front of one person's house and say you can't park within 50 feet. But that's really not a way to do it either. You know, that's not a good solution. What I gotta ask you is, please don't penalize all 25 families living on the street because there's a dispute between two neighbors. I really think that since at least one of these neighbors now knows what the consequences could be for the 25 families, I really believe these people are going to do what's necessary to work it out so we don't have to have these signs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else in public comment?
My name is Ray Claude. I'm also a resident down in Waukesha, Del Tierra. Everything Chuck said defines the problem. The basic thing is we understand that what's happening here was really being done, I guess, as a reaction to a neighborhood problem within our neighborhood. But I would just like to point out to you in the action that was taken, I believe if you put up a bunch of signs that restrict certain things, that's like a town ordinance, isn't it? Would I correct? Would that be referred to as an ordinance, or it's a rule or something? The bottom line is, when we do things like that, create new regulations, new rules, you have to be fixing something. There has to be an issue maybe involving safety of people or some other thing that's causing a problem for the people. So my question would be, what are these signs and this restriction of parking? What is that fixing? There's no safety issue involved here. And basically, I spoke with somebody here, and I used kind of what Mr. Stock did, the fact that, the various people have parties. What are they going to do? Tell them they got to park their car at one of our park and rides and shuttle them into our neighborhood because they can't park on the street? Now, here's the other answer to it. Well, we're not really going to cram this up, people. We're not, So what we're saying here is this is another possible regulation or rule that we're not going to enforce anyway. It's going to wind up being selectively enforced. And what it's going to turn into is when any neighbor gets a bug up and they want to harass another neighbor, they can wait for something like that. And then what are they going to do? Call the cops or call the town or what? It's another issue that builds animosity between people. We have to learn to be tolerant. Right off the bat, I can think of a dandy-eyed like, but it ain't going to hurt me, and I don't want to. It ain't worth my bringing it up. I have to learn to be a little bit tolerant of my neighbors because they're good to me. And I hope we can stop this. By the way, it's a beautiful subdivision. We all take care of our lawns. Those signs are going to be ugly. I don't want signs all over my land. That's what you see in the city where they got all these signs every 2 feet telling you a new thing you got to do, telling you what to do your whole life. I love the town of Vernon. We haven't been doing that. Let's not start. Okay? Thank you.
I'll keep this really short. I can't really add much what those two guys said because that really covers everything. Thomas Bruce, live in Vista Del Tierra. Only about 11 years. Nothing to complain about so far. Matter of fact, I didn't know any of your names because there was nothing to ever be concerned about. You guys are handling it, right? This is really kind of, to me, a crazy solution to an individual problem. I spent 10 minutes, I looked online, and other communities do have ordinance to regulate it. If it has to be regulated, that's really the way to fix this issue. I've never complained about it, but I've been annoyed by it. But I'm just not the kind of person who usually is going to go out of my way to complain. I've had 2 rummage sales in the 11 years I've been here myself. But most people find a normal amount of that kind of thing to do. This has gone beyond that, so I'm sure you guys can figure out something that works for everybody. And please don't put those signs there. That just punishes me and everybody on the block, and I've done nothing wrong, and neither have they. So I'm sure you all will find a reasonable solution. So that's it for me.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leila Rouse, and I'm the person that complained about the rummage sales. Now, the lady across the street from me who did complain, she never came and talked to me peacefully that we could work something out. What I suggest is that you change the rummage sales in the city to be, in the town to be maybe 3 a year. That's it. Then therefore, there's allowed to be 3. If somebody goes over that, well then of course they're going to get whatever penalties you have for it. But she never ever came and said anything. And I even went out of my way and I put cones up and I put caution signs, things up and stuff so that people would not park on her side. But then her husband came out and he started hollering at me and stuff, and I thought, I don't have to listen to that. They never ever tried to just have a common sense talk with me about it. And I agree, we shouldn't have all those signs for all those people. So let's just make rummage sales, let's make it that it's 3 a year and that's it. No more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, James Schwartz was here 2 weeks ago. I just want to change the subject. No numbers. I just want to know what's going to happen to our subdivision when they pull out that crowbar bridge. Is there any temporary speed bumps, or what are we going to do?
Getting some prices actually right now, so.
Oh, you are? Okay. Curiosity, you know, because they're going to do that shortcut, I know, off of crowbar roads.
Jim will keep you posted.
I appreciate that.
As soon as, they can't respond to you because they're, but I can tell you that the board is waiting for more information.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, what this is your public comments, and then if we feel there's an agenda item when we have our turn to talk and stuff like that, or if it's an agenda item, then we can comment on what you say. That's why I'm making notes here.
Okay.
Our attorney frowns on that if we have a one-on-one conversation when it's not an agenda item.
I gotcha.
We've been scolded on that before.
Okay.
Not that we don't want to
Okay.
communicate with you, but it's your turn to make public comments.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. That's it. That's all I have to.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to state that Mr. Ross Martin wanted to be here tonight, and I did forward you to his email, and I won't read his entire email because everything that the 3 gentlemen before indicated, Mr. Martin did indicate in his email, and he's also imploring you not to put up the signs. But I did tell him, and I did forward this to you. Just wanted to state that for the record.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If I'd be allowed to ask, I believe, the clerk a question. It was my understanding there would be no debate at this meeting and that we were limited.
The town board cannot respond to, they're not supposed to respond to public comments. This item in general will be on it's on the agenda later.
At that time, there will be debate allowed.
You
We'll
could
take care of it. We'll just hang around for a little bit.
Sometimes the chairman does a deviation.
We'll take care of it. You want to make a public comment, sir?
Yes, my name is Leila's husband. You know, we didn't even know we had a problem. I mean, if they waved to us, we talked and we were walking. This is shocking that we even had this. I mean, we let them plow this snow in across the road. It kills our grass. He has parties that park in the grass. We put them all, like my wife said, all in cones so nobody parks on his grass. I don't see this problem. I mean, if they wave, we walking, they talk to us, and then it's hard to believe. If they would have said we had a problem, you know, we had 2 rummage sales last year, 3 that 1 month, and then we went a whole month and didn't have any. So I don't think that's out of line. I mean, I don't think we did nothing wrong because you said you can have 1 every month. We're not doing that. So I just, hear on both sides. I mean, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Any other public comments? All right, I'd like to thank everybody for making their public comments. Item 6, there'll be a possible closed session. Item 7, motion to go into closed session, consideration of possible action, a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin Stat 19.85, Pren 1, Pren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, and conducting other specified public business. Whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, more specifically negotiating for an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Big Bend for EMS fire services. Including the closed session will be the town of Vernon supervisors and the town clerk. Motion will require a roll call vote. That's item 7. Item 8 is miscellaneous matters. Now, we do have on here an item K, which is adopt a policy as to when the DPW director should install temporary no parking signs on town roads. So, what I'd like to ask the supervisors is we can deviate from the agenda, go to item K, so we can have the discussion.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Item K, adopt a policy as to when the DPW director should install temporary no parking signs on the town roads. Okay, we've got an issue down on, what's the name of that subdivision down there?
River Oaks.
River Oaks, that when the Village of Big Bend has a rumble by the river, the people that come to that, it's a big festival and they don't have all the parking at there, so they park down Highway L and they've been parking into that subdivision. And when they come out of there and go in there, they have a real problem. They park on both sides of the road. And what we don't have is we don't have access. Some of our fire equipment and safety equipment can't make it through down to where we need to get to in that subdivision. So we've had to post that, but we don't have a policy. We just go there. And then John, who is an employee, not an elected official, is an employee, he gets all the phone calls, and that shouldn't be, because we told him in a roundabout way to go do it. So if we have a policy, it's our policy that we direct the DPW director to go put, his guys to go put those signs up. So it's because of safety concerns. Now in your situation, we were doing it because I can't speak for the rest of the board, but we were led to believe that this was a huge problem. Everybody in the subdivision wanted that. And this was a stopgap because we need to clarify the ordinance. But I'm glad you came, because we know now that we can put a number, the ordinance committee can put a number of what we decide, 2, 3 a year, and we can take that and make a decent ordinance. So there is clarification in it, and that's what we need to do. But this was going to be a stopgap because we don't, by the time we get this through county, get the county to vote on it and everything, it's going to be November, December. It's going to be way past rummage sale time. So what this was going to be a stopgap effort to stop it.
I promise you I won't have a single one again this year.
I have that on tape.
So that's why we did what we did. So what I'd like to do is, do you have the motion that we had voted on last week?
For the rescinding, or
yes, to rescind it.
Yeah, the motion would be that whatever supervisor would make the motion, that you would rescind the motion from June 7, 2018, instructing the DPW director to post temporary no parking signs as instructed by Supervisor Gary Wiley.
Yeah. So does somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Well, does the individual who made the motion, should they
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, just making a motion?
Yep.
Because I would make the same motion. I'd support Jeff's motion.
I did that motion last time, so.
Oh, okay. So it's moved and seconded, Karen.
Discussion, gentlemen.
Well, this goes to prove the old adage that you should hear both sides of the coin before you make a decision. And we acted on a complaint from the individual who lives up in that, and this was our response to how we would handle it. Not realizing that, you know, it had that dramatic effect on the subdivision, we probably hastily jumped into something we probably should have looked at a little closer. So I'd be more than happy to support a motion to rescind and take the signs down. And we'll then, I think we will act on looking at the ordinance and make it, send it to Ed's committee who has the ordinance and have him give a recommendation in regard to what he wants to do regarding rummage sales. We're not trying to put anybody in a position where they can't have any, but we need to have clarification in regard to our ordinance, because we were unsure when we talked about this exactly, you know, what can we do and what can we do, and we figured, oh, we can do this, you know, this is a stop, like Tom said, a stopgap action. But I can see, understand now, you know, after listening to the phone calls that I got, that it affects more than just, you know, one person. Like the gentleman said, there's 25 families live up there, and I think we would be penalizing 24 families if we went ahead and did this. So I'd be more than happy to admit that we were wrong.
We appreciate your help.
Any other comments? Bill?
Yeah, I'd just like to say a couple things. First off, we always have a copy of the agenda in the back there, and it did say right away, J&K, we were already looking at this because I received phone calls from several of you. Matter of fact, the gentleman that sent the email told me he was going to call every one of the supervisors in the town. So, and I think he did. So we're aware that flew like a pregnant elephant, so to say. And we need to take a second look at this. It was kind of a knee-jerk reaction to something that was going to take far too long to resolve the problem, which was redo the ordinance and bring it through Waukesha County and wait for responses from them. We thought nobody's going to be patient enough to wait for that, and we thought it was a serious problem, so we thought, what can we do in the meantime? And it was meant to be temporary, so I don't think anybody was visualizing metal signs, permanent, you know. There's going to be some posted yard signs like we use for, like Tom said, Rumble by the River. On the days where it was affecting everybody's, tranquility, okay? But apparently, that's not the case. So now that we've heard both sides, which I guess we should listen to first, there will be remedies looked at. Thank you.
Bill?
And hopefully, they don't have to be real quick, because we know where we're going, and I think it's gonna take a while.
Bill?
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
If this will further action on this be held in abeyance? The only reason I'm asking is I got flags all over my grass marking utility lines, and yesterday to cut my grass, I had to pull them all out and put them all back. And I just take them out?
We'll get them out of there tomorrow,
There you go.
if that's what they want.
Yep, that's fine.
I've got to agree with Ed on a knee-jerk reaction. I have to admit, as a supervisor also, there was such a matter made out of this. We felt we had to deal with it immediately, and I've got to thank all you folks for coming in, because that's what town government's all about. It really gives us a good perspective. What I would like to see, and I don't know if Mr. Chair can stop me if I'm going beyond, but I'd like to see something. Someone here mentioned the 3 sale limit. I think someone on our board mentioned the 3 sale limit last meeting, whereby I would like to see it done maybe by a simple 3 permit. So we know, and the sheriff knows, who's doing what when, and if you exceed that 3 limit, now you're illegally having a sale. And of course, our ultimate goal is, we got so many cases where people turn their residential zoning into commercial or into a gray area, and we lose control. So we've got to have some kind of control, and I think we as a board did overreact a little, but the comments were good. And that's what I think. So if you folks have any feedback in the future on that, that's what I personally would like to see, maybe a 3-time limit for free. Get a permit from the clerk's office. Thereafter, there's a citation for
The permit would be
sale.
free.
To control. Since someone had, I believe our clerk did print out the zoning, the R3, and you're on a 3-day limit, setting up is 1 day, the sales 1 day, cleaning up is 1 day. So we already have that in the ordinance, so all we need to do is set a limit of sales. So any input we can get on that concept would be good, but we're gonna have to have some kind of control, because we have a couple other issues right now. Poor building inspectors running all over the map trying to enforce ordinances on the books. People are just violating left and right, so anyway, thank you again for your comments, we appreciate it.
Let me just follow up one more time. One gentleman made a comment that, you know, you put all the signs up and then everybody just kind of ignores them and there's no reaction or penalty for it. I wrote a little article in the beginning, I think, in one of our newsletters saying, and I am head of the ordinance committee right at this point in time, that I don't believe in creating any ordinance that you're not going to support. So if you're not going to support it, don't write it. And if those signs are put up, the intent was to have the sheriff called anytime a violation was in place on that. We do try to follow up, and we try not to encumber you with more ordinances that we control. We're not looking to make this a police state, trust me. We did that in good faith, thinking that we were giving a quick solution to a bad problem. We didn't realize it really wasn't bad.
Oh, we certainly
So again, I'll
appreciate you admitting that and helping us out on this.
Well, and thanks again, I follow Bill, thanks for coming in and giving comments, because that's the only way we learn.
I think we can delegate John to pull the signs out tomorrow.
Well, I didn't
They're
put
not
the
there.
signs up, just the flags for the hotline.
I called him right away when I got the call. Said, hold off.
Any more discussion? So,
Sir,
If I heard one comment,
Tom.
Bill, was that you were suggesting a 3-day limit, 1 day to set up, 1 day to have it?
Well, that's already on the books.
Traditionally, if you go anywhere in neighborhoods having rummage sales, they usually, it's kind of almost an unwritten rule. They started on a Thursday and hold it through a Saturday.
Yeah.
And the way you described it there,
Well, what I was
you're gonna wind
describing
up
is
having people here again.
Our
upset.
ordinance right now is 3 days, first day setup, second day actual sale, third day cleanup.
So you're saying
So
you
that's
can't have
on
a
the
sale
books.
more than 1 day?
Pardon me?
You saying you can't have a sale more than 1 day?
my wife
Well,
would complain
don't run
about
it
that.
past
Yeah.
3
We'll have
days.
to look at that.
Yeah,
That's why I should go.
I don't think
It's
anyone's gonna be hassled
going to
over
plan
that
commission next
part of
week.
it, but
That's
this
all
other.
stretching more.
This kind of
Exactly.
discussion.
Okay.
all right, any more discussion? All right. Item J says repeal a motion to instruct DPW director to install no parking signs on Vernon Vista. Been moved and seconded, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So then we're on let's do item K, adopt a policy when the DPW should install temporary no parking signs on the town roads. This, we've got this to look at. Some of the stuff, I don't know if it reads right here. It says temporarily no parking zones are established to restrict regular parking on roadways which may impede access to safety vehicles, fire trucks, ambulance, police cars along the town of Vernon roadways. And it goes at the Waukesha County Sheriff Department, the town of Vernon, and it just kind of, it goes on and on. I think that we need to take a look at this and redo that. And I don't like the way it starts out. Usually a policy from that, it starts from time to time. The town of Vernon has, established the restrictive and blah, 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 blah. So I'd like to take another shot at this. I'd like to thank Madam Clerk for getting this, but this is a good start.
Well, this was like in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Write a policy.
And so this will be on the next agenda but because I still think that we should have a policy to set that up So if we get issues like we do down by Rumble by the river, that we can help those people out.
I have one question regarding policies versus ordinances. Can we get the police to enforce a policy?
If there's a no
Or
parking
ticket on a
sign.
policy?
Yeah, if there's a no parking sign, why not?
I guess the question is.
There's a
You
catch-all.
gotta give them a copy of ordinances at one point in time that they would.
We're talking about two
perform their
different things, eh? We're talking about a policy, you're talking about an ordinance, and actually three things, and a no parking sign.
duty. Okay, so we're okay, police-wise. So we need work on this. Because the roads, you can't park on both sides and fit a truck with a fire engine.
Some of those trucks are 9'6",
Yeah.
especially the ones with the boxes.
My main thought was fire engine and such, to be able to access houses and such on.
Or if they need to get that Bearcat through there for the sheriff's department. that
Yeah,
aren't-
you gotta look at some of the sizes that are impacted there.
You can't, who knows what the way it is today.
You're right.
And that, so this will be on the next agenda.
Okay.
Bring your suggestions to Madam Clerk.
Yep.
Is that all right, Madam?
Yep, that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
All right. Item A, easement access over the town property to access South 101 West 24830 Maple Avenue. Residents. All right.
Thank you very much, John.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good night.
I have one question for you. You said it was Verta Vista and it's Vista del Tierra. You said
Yeah.
Verta Vista, and I know there is.
Their motion is Verta Vista. That's why they didn't make a motion to do your road.
But we're Vista del Tierra.
I know, but their motion said Verta Vista.
So we have to.
So you have
go on
nothing
what
to
the
worry
motion
about.
Oh,
said.
oh.
Yeah, we're done. Them poor people.
Thank you. I had the same mistake with John. I asked him to meet me on on Verta Vista, and it was Vista del
Oh,
Tierra.
perfect. Thanks, dear.
John corrected me.
You can find you.
All right, item A, did the gentleman, did you request,
Yeah, Sherry's here.
are they, could you come up, please? So, can you explain your situation?
Yes,
We're
we-
in the process of attempting to sell the house, and we got a couple interested people who all asked about the driveway. We've owned the property, I think, for approximately 17 years, and the driveway has been there all of that time. Doing some research, it's been there since at least 1963. But there's no legal easement on file anywhere. I went to the courthouse, looked at the register of deeds and all the land records, so we can't sell it until something is resolved.
And Sherry, could you state your name for the record?
Sherry Lynn,
L-I-N-N?
Linn.
Thank you.
So what are you looking for the town board to do?
Well, looking at the property, the driveway is placed where it is because of the placement of the septic tank and leach bed. So we were hoping to get an easement to allow driveway access, even though it's been there for a long time.
Okay, I had a discussion with our town attorney, and the agenda item is item A, easement access over town property to access South 101 West 24830 Maple Avenue. And that was a request from the resident, and the attorney said that this is a policy decision, okay, but he recommends that the resident be asked to provide the town with a land survey of the existing situation so a determination can then be made based on the land survey what is needed to do. So we're asking you to get a survey of your property.
Okay.
Or do you have one?
Or do you have one?
I mean, I don't have one.
Normally when a property's sold, you get a copy of the survey.
Or you have to have one, yeah.
I'd have to look through our paperwork.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't find anything with the,
Okay, what we'll need is a survey because we need to, with your septic system on there, we need
Not that one.
where your driveway exits your property and where we can see actual problem it is.
so all of the designations on our property taxes don't count? Where it gives you all the numbers of where the property runs that we pay our taxes?
No,
That's-
we need it.
That's a legal
That's a
description.
legal.
They're asking for a survey.
Is
So
the
that's our-
previous owner still around that you know?
Yes, yes, she's my husband's ex-mother-in-law.
Okay, so it sounds to me, from what I hear, you were sold a piece of landlocked property which is illegal in Wisconsin.
It's been sold like that approximately 7 times.
Yeah.
Since 19
Well, even
yeah.
so, state law says very clearly you cannot sell landlocked property. So you should have had, as Ed mentioned, a survey showing access, or at least it should have been disclosed to you, and your lender obviously will look to know that if you don't have legal access. So I think you should probably get a hold of the previous owner also.
Well, I mean, because I contacted her about it, and she said that it was owned by, well, she said the county at the time, when they purchased it in 1977, but I mean, it was a long time ago, so she could have meant the town. So I mean, it was never an issue until now.
Well, even if
so.
it were town,
Mhm.
if there's nothing legally recorded showing that is an easement, you're illegally crossing someone else's property, even if it's a town. So, I don't know, I would backtrack and find the seller and explain to him that you were purchasing landlocked property and went told about it, which is exactly what happened. That's the way it sounds to me.
What do you,
But what would that get us? I mean, the leach bed is right there. You can't drive across the leach bed.
oh,
Who actually owns that cemetery up there, Karen, do you know? Is that a town?
No, it is not owned by, we don't know ownership.
Okay,
We
so
don't
the
know.
town doesn't even have the right to
No.
get involved in an easement.
The town does not own that
Correct.
cemetery.
No.
The only,
We maintain it, but we don't own it.
don't we have access by the stairs? Mrs. Reedy says that she owns the property except for where the stairs are leading into the cemetery.
I'd ask her to bring a map, show her that
Yeah.
she owns it.
Yeah.
And Bill, they are on a public road. Their property has public access. The issue is she says is their septic system is in the front of your yard. It's not landlocked. There's a road right in front of their whole property.
Oh, there is
Yeah.
access, but over the leach field.
And,
Yeah.
you know, that's unfortunate, but that's not the town's doing.
no.
And my question is, the legalese, who's gonna pay for that? The town shouldn't pay for that.
Pay for what?
The legal ease that, we've already got money invested in this, talking with the attorney on this issue, okay?
Okay.
Now, if you want us to go any farther, I would say that you're gonna have to sign the paperwork that you're gonna pay for our town attorney looking at it, or you can get your own attorney to look at it. Because this is a private issue. Your driveway and where you are, your lot is landlocked. You have no access. You go across somebody else's property and you have no easement. And you say you can't put a driveway because it's gonna go over your septic system. Okay, can you move your septic system to get a driveway easement? I don't know, but I think you should get your own attorney and figure it out. This, you know, everybody wants to come to the town and have the town help them. And we can try, but I think we've gone as far as we can go without spending a lot of taxpayer money that the taxpayers, we we should.
I was under the
spend it.
impression this was our cemetery, that's the only reason
Yeah.
we did this, right?
I was too.
And Dodge Corners is not our cemetery.
We don't know who owns it.
Would that be county?
What happened?
No. That's a different issue.
Yeah. it
But
is.
we do not own the cemetery.
Or the access to the cemetery.
No.
It's just that
Yeah.
bottom portion. I don't care who owns the cemetery.
And I can't say
Well, that's
who
one
owns that
piece of
easement
property.
either.
Yeah.
The layout, that's one piece of property.
Not if
So
the
you
town
should
owns
care
some
who
of the
owns it, that's
access.
people you're gonna have to deal with.
Okay. So that's where we're at, I'm done?
But that would be my suggestion, that you need to get a legal attorney, and it's the homeowner's property owner.
We'd love to help, we have no authority in this position.
When was your septic put in?
There's no record of it.
There's no, I don't know.
There's no record prior, the county has no, so it's like a lot of the older properties in our community, if it's so old, it's grandfathered.
What we were told is the driveway was moved when the septic was installed because of where the septic had to go. So they had to, the driveway was previously on the other side of the property coming straight down. But because of where things had to be placed, the driveway was moved. And you found aerial photographs back to 1963 of the driveway being on the other side.
And it might be older, but no one has any records beyond that, the county.
Right. So,
But 63 was vertical.
no.
Oh, it was moved already.
Oh, yeah,
It was moved already as of
Okay.
1963. But there's no records prior to that, so we don't know for sure when it was moved.
Love to help you, if there's anything we can do legally.
I'm friends with these, friends with Sherry and Ryan Lynn, who own the property, and I've kind of been assisting them.
Do you wanna come up to the front so you can speak into the microphone so the people can hear you?
I'm Josh Peterson, I'm out of Big Bend, friends of the family, been many years with them, helping them out, taking care of the property over there, trying to get them assisted through this. We were under the impression that the cemetery was owned by you guys, so that's why we had come to you to speak with you guys. With that being said, so it's kind of a lost gray area on your guys' end, not knowing who owns the cemetery then whatsoever, in your guys' in Vernon, is that correct?
Well, the cemetery really isn't on the agenda, but I've never researched this. All I can tell you is the State Historical Society
So no taxes?
doesn't have a delineation. No, it's an exempt property, but there has to be a relative of someone in that cemetery that would have to come forward. But the town just maintains it. We don't own it.
Interesting.
And there's no document in what Sherry said. I could not find any easement that the town has to walk up the cemetery.
Really? Huh. Now, what year, or, you said on a lot of your older properties, you don't have records for it. What year did that start to occur where perhaps you would like to think that somebody did get an easement to put the driveway in there originally?
We don't know,
Would that
like I
have
said,
been something that,
we don't know, the oldest we go back on the aerial maps is 1963,
okay.
and that cemetery is from the 1800s, and there had to be some type of easement because they used to go up with horses years ago.
Okay.
But
What I was in reference to, as far as your guys' records, how far do you guys have records for easements and for Vernon?
the town wouldn't be, the Register of Deeds is the one, even if the town had records, the official record is held by the Register of Deeds. And as Sherry stated, I looked and Sherry looked, and there's no documentation on any type of recorded easement for any of those properties there.
Maybe it'd be worth going to Waukesha and looking at the cemetery and see if we can come up with some kind of
It's
order
not on
for
there
it.
at all.
No?
No.
I guess that's about all I got for now.
If you check with the Register of Deeds, you just give them this 7-digit number preceded by VNT,
Okay.
and that's all they would search.
There's nothing there.
Right, but I mean, I looked through the books back to 1950, and that lists all of the properties on that corner, and there's nothing about the cemetery until it was made a historical, until the historical marker went up in 1993. So there's, back to 1950, there's no mention of the cemetery at all.
Would I be correct to assume that the gravestones in there have nothing recent enough to have a
I think
They go-
the oldest one
in the
is
early
like
1900s.
1900,
Oh,
and
there's
they're
some Real, there's some real
1844 is
old
the
ones.
oldest.
The oldest.
Yeah, but nothing new where you might find.
Cemetery is not the agenda item, Joe.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're done. I thought it was part of that question.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Mr. Henneberry?
Mr. Henry, do you have any suggestions on placement on anything, what we can do?
I was down and just kind of looking at, if you would have to put a driveway in, if you would have to go probably to the far west end, down by the sign, I would say, would be the safest spot.
Okay.
But is there a chance, what if you put in a mount system or something to upgrade that system? Would it be possible to do something like that? I don't know. And then you could maybe,
I think realistically speaking, financial sense though doesn't really make that. The best would be to acquire an assessment or a right to access the property at that point. You know, I mean, it's been that way since 1961 at a minimum, or 63 at a minimum. I mean, there's got to be a point where you inherit the property access to some extent, being that, you know, it has been maintained by the homeowner, and homeowner is,
That's a legal question.
Yeah.
and that may, looks to be the next process at that point, I guess, for everybody. Appreciate your time. Do you have any other thoughts, or?
Sorry, we can't help you more.
Worth a shot, that's
But
first place
it's,
to start.
you know, we've, like I said, we've got money already stuck into it from our attorney, just from what you tried to ask us. And he gave an opinion that he needs more information, and he would start with the survey. But then, who pays for that? The town taxpayer shouldn't pay for a private problem.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's my job to sit up here and tell you that.
Right.
That's why I was elected. Somebody's got to tell you.
If we would find out by the state that it, for some reason, is your guys' property, would that be something that we come back to?
Oh, I'd love to hear him say that.
Yeah.
Because when we got it dedicated in 1993, they were very nice, but they couldn't help us.
No other follow-up on that information?
No, the only thing we could get is it marked, that it's a, because of the age.
Okay. So nobody really knows who owns that property. So,
That's illegal. Ask Betty. No, I'm kidding.
Back in question based on what we went through with building that cemetery. In the case of an abandoned cemetery, it reverts back to the town.
The agenda item, Eddie.
Yeah, it's part of the question about the driveway. If it's ours, and it could be, if it's an abandoned cemetery, is what I'm telling you.
they do.
You guys maintain it, but don't own it?
Well, we're maintaining it.
Yeah, we've maintained it.
The agenda question is access
Seems
to
like
the
you
property,
have ownership.
not the cemetery, not anything to do with the cemetery.
We'd love to.
It's access to the property. It just happens to go over the cemetery.
Which could be ours because
The easement access.
if it's an abandoned cemetery by state statute, Tom, it belongs to us.
We can't.
But we don't know. There's no way to prove that, huh?
That's not the agenda item. It's access to their property.
Yes.
Their property is next to the cemetery.
Which
The
is
road
whose
goes
property?
over the cemetery.
Which is whose property?
But we're not talking about whose property. That's not the agenda, whose property it is. It's access to their property is the agenda item.
Ignore it, okay?
I feel both sides there, but I definitely feel that is part of the issue, because if you guys didn't know who owned it, and I would think that Vernon almost would have some responsibility in knowing who owns property in their town or village. At that point, that would clarify a lot of stuff, and being that you guys have assumed the obligation to maintain it, at that point, in some way, shape, or form, you've almost inherited responsibility, and now, again, that'd be a question for your lawyer to ask. Since we've inherited the responsibility of maintenance, now do we own the property, since it is an abandoned piece of property in the town of Vernon? Any response, or?
You need to get an attorney.
Pardon me?
You need to get an attorney.
Well, that's fine, I'm just curious.
you guys for your time.
All right, item B, photo ID badges for the town board and plan commission members, supervisor 4.
I'm sorry, that's 3. Should be Ed. Oh, Ed, and, no, Ed did the changes and, here's a badge.
Yeah. Well, it's just the point I made last meeting, I think it's very good to have. I didn't realize how important until this issue came up on Martha. And someone didn't even want to come to the door. They had a suspicious look on it.
And we did make some changes. Ed and I sat down and made some changes on the policy.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do with it, gentlemen?
Can we prove it? Is there, I don't have any problem with reading through the policy. And in that regard, I would make a motion that we adopt employee identification badge policy for the town of Vernon.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item C, Martin Meredith King right-of-way, DPW Director.
We just put it on there. I wanted the board to see that we did the letters to, you see all the people we mailed them to. We did mail letters to the 2 property owners that will incur some fees. But I know one thing, I put everything down in John's letter, but I also put down the tree removal, and John told me that that they don't charge for that. So I can correct the letter. I wasn't, I just went off of his financial statement and charged him every
Yeah, typically we would just clear the trees if they're in there right away while we're ditching. We don't charge for that. So
You can have the wood, but.
Yeah, right, I agree. I just want to clarify that you shouldn't get charged for that, I believe so. One more thing on that, I did get a letter from Paul Ambrose from the DOT. Our drainage engineer had a chance to look at this area from the subdivision, and because he basically he feels that the flat grades and small diameter culverts, that the increased flow at the southwest corner of 164 would not be detrimental to the drainage of 164. But he also was, he would request that we would get our own catch basin and connect it to theirs. So if everything kind of would back up, it would back up towards the ditch and not overflow onto 164.
Oh.
So I would have to go through a little bit of engineer work with him to see what he accepts. Basically, it'd be a catch basin with a pipe over to their catch basin, which
Catch any silt or anything.
yeah, right. So that would be one of the requirements. And he also asked if we could jet out that pipe going across the street if we have the ability to do so, which we do not. So.
Sounds like a job ready.
Are you going, how big of a catch basin and what does it have to handle?
Well, that's what
Are we going to need engineering now?
Well, I was going to call him and find out what his engineer would require us to put in there. How big of an area, or what they have in there now, them catch basins are only 3 foot by 3 foot.
It shouldn't be bigger than what they have.
No, and it shouldn't be anything more than that, because if they're handling that whole intersection, everything's coming down 164, I mean, that minimal that we're doing is just, he's just afraid if it would plug up, he doesn't want it to overflow onto 164. This way, if it kind of backs up, it should go back that way. That's their theory, I guess. So yeah, we gotta ask them what would qualify or what they need for us.
Did you get something from him in writing of what he wants, what he would suggest,
Right,
and why he suggests that?
yeah.
Because the water should be coming down there now,
Mm-hmm.
and this to me is just another, it's gonna just cost more money.
Mm-hmm.
For what? Because he suggested it?
Is that the state DOT?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna be the catch basin, it's gonna be the top of it.
To reduce the chance of water flowing past the curb inlet on State Highway 164 and draining across the highway, we will ask the town to add an inlet in the bottom of the ditch and connect it to the curb inlet. Any excess flow from the subdivision would then back up into the ditch instead of flowing across the highway. So, basically, it's pretty much requesting that if we're gonna do this, they would like to see that installed, is what I'm getting, so. I was gonna get a hold of the engineer and find out exactly what would be acceptable. Or what
And we're allowed to tap into their basin right there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually tapping into it or just
Add
dredging
to it.
to it?
Well, we would probably have to install one ahead of it and then pipe over to it, I would imagine.
I mean, if they didn't require a catch basin, what would you have done? Just dredged up to it?
Oh, we wouldn't even do anything in that section of ditch because everything's pitched right to that catch basin now. I mean, we've got like, 150 feet that we wouldn't even touch from that catch basin. 'Cause everything's real good right there. But.
Yeah, so I don't see why we should tear up anything in front of that catch basin.
Just for the simple possibility that we might have an excess amount of rain.
Yeah, that's the way it
It's
sounds.
handled it in the past, or how much more are we gonna add to it?
Well, he's on the record. With that writing there, he's on the record.
Yeah.
Can't
So,
wait and see if it does
we're
run over
gonna
the
have to
whole
get-
catch basin.
Well, I
The
think,
engineer involved with this now, which I thought we could get away with, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look like that. But
But
I'm glad,
like John says, use their engineer if you can.
if you can.
I would like to, I'm
Try
gonna
that
email,
first, yeah.
ask them what they would
Because
require
you're
of
gonna
us.
need some, it ain't gonna be flat because it'll run down, run over,
Yeah.
and run into that anyway. It's gonna have to be on a grade, it's gonna have to have an elevation, we're gonna have to have it sized.
Yeah, I can't see it running over that period.
I knew it.
It's going into the catch
No,
basin.
it's
That's a
just-
3-foot drop, right?
It's just another cost.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of a CYA.
Cover, yeah.
Yeah,
Ain't gonna be in the
Covering
summer,
his rear
it's
end.
gonna be in the winter, cause they want the flow, ice gonna flow. Cause they know that the water doesn't come out of there now, it ponds over
Yeah.
in the guy's yard
Yeah.
on Meredith. And now, we're gonna fix that,
And
so now
increase
it's gonna
the
be
flow.
coming where it's gonna be
We may be
coming.
using their catch basin,
And
but
probably what's there isn't
Yeah.
sufficient for.
sufficient.
Well, was the county responsible for determining that they had enough basin there to handle this?
That's a state project.
Well, state project? Well, the state.
You don't want the county involved.
Oh, okay.
So see what you can do, John.
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna send them an email and find out what they're gonna require us to do and what would be acceptable there.
I wonder if you'd answer a question as to what he thinks the increased flow is gonna be that's gonna create the problem.
And if he knows you're stopping 150 feet short of it, you're not even going anywhere near it.
Right, I met Paul Ambrose from the DOT out there, and he kind of relayed this stuff over to their drainage engineer.
Oh, so you got a two-way conversation.
Yeah, so I have not contacted, I don't even know who this guy is, to be honest with you, that he's referring to, so.
But if you can work that in, that'd be a good question. What do you think the capacity issue is that's coming from the subdivision into your cistern, or whatever you want to call it?
Sure.
Try and get as much resolution out of their engineers. Rather than
Yeah.
bother
That's what I was
ours.
hoping, just to tell them what we need to put in and.
What size? Yeah. Where?
Okay.
I'd use that for the last question, though.
Yeah.
I can see this is gonna get to be costly because they're gonna wanna do a whole study on where the water's coming from and
How
what's
much?
going on, how much it is. Oh.
But based on that, is there questions we shouldn't ask? I mean, if we ask too much, we may be driving it toward a study.
Yeah, but we're already started with it.
I would imagine they must have studied that when they put that first base in, because
Hope so.
they must have assumed water was gonna be coming from that subdivision. It's
Just
above.
the way it's pitched
Yeah.
right now, it does,
Yeah,
it runs right to it.
I don't know.
Can we
I'll leave it to
propose,
the expert.
can we propose a big dry well right there before it hits that point? Fill it up with crushed stone, put a grid on top, and the whole village of Big Bend is surviving off of dry wells right now.
If that was the case, you could stop it shorter than that, you know, if we're on the curve a little bit, you wouldn't even have to go all the way down there.
You're saying stop at short of 164 or
Yeah.
But to get the
dry well?
we have to get the engineer involved with the dry wells anyways. then?
Yeah, most likely.
Still an extra cost.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's still, it's
I don't know,
starting to
well, how big a
multiply.
hole did John dig in the thing and fill it full of stone?
I guess the other thing to keep in mind, there was none of this in the budget when we put it together, so
No, I know.
definitely want to hold it to a minimum.
Well, that's the reason why I'm hedging. Well, we gotta do something.
Yeah.
Well, John, see what you can do with their engineers, and I'm probably 90% sure we're gonna have to get our engineers involved. That's gonna be, I don't know. We'll have to contact.
Sure want to stop by
Their
and study.
Their engineers gotta approve it, so what do they want?
Yeah.
You know, versus having ours do it.
Ask them what they would, that's a good idea. Ask them what they would charge us for drawings.
Yeah, turn them over to our engineer. Say, oh, you don't even
Maybe
have
the
to have
county
any drawings.
engineer to engineer it. It's his idea.
Yeah, it is.
And if we got a paint engineer, maybe we'll get a break on it.
Well, at least we get a number to work with.
Something.
Right now, we have John's proposal, but we don't have anything added to that based on that letter.
Not at the end.
Yeah, see if we,
I
could-
just
So
got
that
that,
gives us
see in
a-
that kind of negotiation, if we put that drive well in,
Dry well
a couple
in
hundred
instead?
feet in before you even get to the road, if that's acceptable to them, or?
Yeah, other options.
If you, yeah.
Because it sounds we're ditching up to it, or creating anything new.
If we need to get on a conference call, let me know. I'll sit in with you.
all right, I'll try and get a hold of Paul tomorrow and find out who to contact over for their engineering and see what they wanna do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
we'll
we
do
don't,
that.
we don't want to make a big project out of it, so just trying to clean a ditch.
Yeah, we're gonna dump some water down there. You know, I just had the, you know, there was a lot
I
of
knew it
water
was
in them
coming.
pictures and them, I've seen that before with them inlets down there, they ain't big enough for what the water that's coming.
I'm actually surprised those are only like 12-inch that go underneath the road, underneath 164. I thought they were gonna be probably
12 inch.
24s or something, but yeah,
That's,
they're small.
it says it's only 12.
Yeah, you can see it. If you look down in there, you can see the concrete.
And they're asking us to clear it if it jams?
Yeah, they wanna, if we could jet it out for them right away, as long as we're messing with it, but, so we don't have the ability to do that, but.
Well, can't the fire department go with a high pressure hose and blow that
Oh,
off?
I'm
That's what
sure.
they did with,
I'm sure they probably could,
Yeah,
if we
some of the
requested
other,
them to do that, yeah.
Yeah, we're not even really messing with it, we're stopping so short of it.
I think that's just their way of getting a little bit of free
free
kickback, you know, help.
Well, maybe we
with
can get some free drawings based on that.
Run the garden
Give us
hose.
the drawings, we'll clean your pipe. If it's a trade-off, it's a trade-off.
Who comes out ahead on that one?
Just remember the cost, John.
Yeah.
Tell them the town's broke.
I think we're just gonna keep Meredith on the agenda for agenda item, so we can talk about what's going on. All right, discussion of the brush pickup program. Okay. Now, Ed, you made some adjustments or some...
I just put a spreadsheet up and Karen made the corrections where I added housings and truckloads and stuff into my map. So the big legal size you have in front of you is the correct spreadsheet with the gloss on it.
Okay.
If you work the numbers, I appreciate Ed's work on this, by the way. I did the math on some of this earlier. You look from fall 16 to spring of 18, 38% increase in cost.
Yeah.
2 years. Unbelievable.
Yeah. 348 hours of just
I wonder how much it
picking
goes
it up.
to ash trees. I know we lost enough of that tree to the ash board. That could be what propagated that whole situation.
So, let's go over this here. How long ago was that, Bill, when we didn't do pickup?
That's first year.
3 years?
Huh?
No, what year was that? Was that
Oh, okay, before we ever got into
11?
2011, I think, was the year I came. I think that's the year we tried it.
Probably about right.
It
Were
blew
you
up in
on the
our
board
face.
then?
No, I was on DPW, and I think that blew up in our face when we did that. Doug came
Yeah.
in screaming, he's got all this brush, what do you do with it? You know?
That's what I was thinking of. Our DPW committee spent quite a bit of time
Looking at that,
researching
yeah.
that very thing.
And
That
it
was
kind of bit us when we did it. Because all of a sudden, he's sitting here not knowing where to go with the brush pile.
So,
Can we get anything from, Advance about, don't they pick up brush from Waukesha?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they would charge us if we had a brush drop-off site here or something, how that would work?
Yep, and they do pick up small amounts of brush if you saw that in the last newsletter. They do pick up brush, but small amount, not like, people leave a half the road.
well, even if Advance, you're looking at a $40,000 bill
Yeah.
out of DPW budget.
Mm-hmm.
We could get Advance, even if we had to pay a little more to do that, I don't know. That might be viable.
I still like the idea of looking at dispersing this among the people that want to use it.
Well,
Through Advance or here, either way.
That's what I did. I did this afternoon.
Yeah, I like your idea.
Took the brush pickup and I divided that, added that up, and I divided that by the 852 households or 825 households. And then I also added the fuel in that for that, and I come up with about $42 a load or for a household.
42?
About 42, yeah. And then I did the same with the delivery. Well, the delivery is a little more because of the chipping and there's less people. There's only 79. Now, John, I got a question when it says loads picked up.
Some people come here with trailers that we don't deliver.
Okay.
It's just that they pick them up here. So I just counted them as loads, but not that we deliver them.
Okay. Okay. So the 79 would be the true number that we deliver.
Correct.
Okay. So I came up with about $70 for delivery. So if the 40 and the 70, the 60 would be easier to keep track of. If you pick up a load, you pay $60, or if you get a load, you pay $60. And then I tried to get a hold of Macy. He must have been at a conference or something this afternoon to find out if we could put that as a fee, like we do with stormwater fee, just on it would only be to the people that use it. If they picked up in front of the house, they just write the address down. That would be it. And if delivered one, they'd have the address, and then it would be a fee to them.
One question, I thought I heard one of the guys said he was gonna try to get two. Do you deliver 2 or 3 loads to any individual home?
There was
More than one?
a few, but we limited it to everybody got one load because we had so many people that wanted them. I've had requests for 8, 10 loads.
Yeah.
Oh,
Multiple.
But have you ever delivered more than one?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that would kick these rates up for that one individual.
Well, it would be,
You pick up
if
one.
you're doing a load, it would $60, if they got 2 loads,
Yes,
that
per
would be
load.
$120.
Yep.
That would.
And I'm afraid what's gonna happen.
If you could charge a load,
Yeah.
but I gotta talk, we have to talk to Macy to find out if we could charge that fee as an extra fee for a brush pickup or brush delivery, or chip delivery, you know.
My fear is that we're gonna, like last time, we're gonna lose people because we're charging. And when that happens, if you cut it in half, fees double. Cut it by 3/4, fees are 4 times, okay? And eventually that becomes unreasonable for bus.
The town,
I like the idea.
the city of Waukesha.
And maybe we gotta try it to see if it works.
They do charge per truckload. And I don't
Dumping?
know what their fee is. Pardon me?
For chips or?
Yes, for chips.
But they have,
They can drop them off there. They grind them and then they will deliver them, or they do charge for a load.
So
It's an option.
they get the people to deliver.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
People use their own
yes.
delivery system to
Right.
get it here. Then they grind it,
Yep.
and then they will deliver it if you
Yeah,
want.
or-
Yes,
they have
and
piles.
charge and they're,
They have, would
You
you
can pick
sit
it up,
on
too.
piles too, where they allow people to come in and
Yes,
fill up
yes,
trailers?
you
they
can-
work there part-time to help out.
Yeah.
He's talked about that a couple times. the way
Well, we
they-
gotta do something, because, you know,
The costs are going
what I
up.
did with it is I asked Madam Clerk this afternoon, approximate households,
Yeah,
and we had, what was that, Madam Clerk?
28.
We get for parcels, 3846.
3846, yeah.
per house.
And with that, you take the 825 that's doing it, you divide it, it's about only 21%. The other, you know, or say 20%. So 80% of the people don't use it.
it
But
doesn't,
we're paying the $40,000 bill, which
Once a year.
I don't wanna pay for that.
Twice a year, actually, so it's about $80,000 a year.
It's becoming way too costly.
Well, we'd still have a big portion of that going out, challenges we do in other labor, it's not
Right.
it's gonna cut the
Yeah, we
budget
could
by
be
that.
doing more crack filling to save our roads.
Yeah, I mean,
We could be doing more shoulder work for safety purposes.
it's not an $80,000 savings if you just eliminate
No.
the brush pickup, no.
right.
But
No.
the conversation I've had with a couple of different individuals said that they wouldn't be opposed to cutting back to once a year versus twice a year, you know. Now, I don't know if that's an option to throw in there.
This is once a year. You're only looking at spring right here, you're
Yeah,
in.
Well,
but you got
twice last
fall,
year.
you got fall too.
You got fall coming, so that
Yeah.
could be another 30, 40
Well,
grand
yeah,
again.
but that's what I'm saying, they're talking about possibility of just, instead of doing it twice a year, just doing it once a year. That's another option to consider.
The one in Waukesha has self-delivery to their town hall.
Right.
And then they have a disposal company pick it up. They don't mulch it, they don't
They
deliver
just
it.
pick it up
He
and
just
take it.
said they chip it.
No,
That's
that's
the
the city.
town
Oh,
and the city,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
By if you wanna see how they work it, that's by the old incinerator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's city
Yeah,
of
like
Waukesha.
on a Saturday morning, there's half a dozen cars there all the time picking up
Yeah.
wood chips.
I think they got compost too.
And they got compost, yeah. They get rid of the stuff.
We gotta do something.
Yeah, I think we gotta look at other options, what we can do with advanced disposal or.
Can we get some prices from Advance?
Sure. Yep.
To find out?
I'll get some others too, just
Yeah.
give you some alternatives.
Yeah.
Look at that.
John,
Put it on the
typically
agenda for
the
next
spring or
week?
the fall would be.
Or next meeting?
You want, gentlemen, you want on the
spring.
agenda again for next
Yeah,
time?
so-
If Karen
I would
gets
like
some
to keep
responses
the spring
for
if we
that.
could.
I mean, if we went down
Because
the
that
block,
way,
yeah.
I know I'll get rid of the wood chips. You get them in the fall, nobody wants to do
No.
yard work in
No.
the fall. So I would prefer if you could go down to one, to keep the spring one.
Spring.
Just
Would it
my
be better if
opinion.
you went later? Early summer?
Earlier, I would go back to where we were, because the last 2 weeks, this year changed it, killed us. I think that's why it was up quite a bit too.
And the other thing I wanted to say too, I know John and I both get phone calls all the time for people wanting to bring their brush in all the time. Just so you know, it's not once or twice a year, it's a lot.
A lot?
A lot.
The other thing with the drop off is, I think they're open on Saturdays out there also for that, so you almost have to have somebody monitoring that on a Saturday also.
Well, we're
As a-
part of the county, why can't we use,
The county doesn't have a facility.
just the town?
It's, yeah.
City of Waukesha?
And all cities do what the city of Waukesha, all cities.
And I agree with you, Ed, that with the ash borer, it's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of ash trees in my yard that every week I
I don't have any
take the
left.
club car with the
Yeah.
4x4 box on
Just
it,
for
and
the
I got
bark.
a whole bunch of branches that are just falling off that are dead, and I carry them down to the burn pile
I
in the
already
back.
lost every one that was in the yard. Not a one left.
So it's gonna get worse.
Yeah. That's sad. Yep.
So we have to, the cost is driving us, we gotta do something different. We all know it.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
And, $40,000, we go back to budget, where a penny is almost 10 grand, so you're 4 cents. I don't wanna raise the taxes 4 cents because we're collecting brush. No way. I don't wanna do it. We ain't gonna do it. Well,
John's gonna be asking,
we gotta figure something else out.
John's gonna be asking for another guy next time.
John, you're not getting another guy.
Where's the next guy?
We're watching, John.
So we gotta.
You'll only give you half a man, I wanna see you hire that guy.
All right, I think we beat that one enough.
Yep, we did. Let's go back on the agenda.
Item E, installation of subdivision light, rolling metals right away.
Oh, boy.
What do you guys think about that one?
Crazy, we can't get a signed letter from anybody.
I went up and looked at, they're really beautiful street lights,
Yeah.
but they're definitely right in the middle of our right of way.
Our right away, yeah.
I think Karen was a little surprised to get a letter, a thank you card. Yeah, look, Are they functional?
Yes, I went there on a Thursday.
They're
I
lit.
went,
I
yeah.
went during the day, that's why.
No, I went there
but-
Thursday evening.
And they are working.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah,
They're
really beautiful
pretty.
lights.
They don't look like a normal street light.
No.
It's more like a frou-frou fancy entrance light.
Yeah.
Now, did you get did you call him? Did he ever have a permit?
No, I don't do phone, when there's stuff like this, it's all through email.
Okay.
I can't prove anything by a phone call, so I emailed him. You saw the email where he said
Not
that,
him, for.
the electric company.
Right, okay.
And he emailed the application back, and I thanked him for that, but my question to him, there were several, one of which is, can we see a copy of the signed permit that the electric, I haven't heard
That John
anything
issued.
since. Yeah.
He did. Which John didn't issue.
He did state that the town's not gonna have to pay the $6,000 for the light.
Yeah.
He didn't answer the question on who pays the monthly, I'm assuming, but who pays the monthly? I had several questions, I haven't had any answer.
Well, the biggest one I have, it says on their January 4th letter to Jeff Mazer, one of the bullet points is customer must locate private underground facilities and grant or obtain, without expense to Wisconsin Energy's access to property, necessary permission, easements.
Where's that?
This is in the letter here.
No, but I said, where is
And
that?
yeah, that's what we need to see proof of. I wanna see where you got all these easements. They sent us back that letter with no signature on it.
That is my understanding, John got the letter in January and didn't think anything of it, because before you do anything, John issues all permits for right-of-way access.
And I knew it wasn't passed, so I wasn't about to give him a permit for it. So I
Right.
thought he was gonna come to the board with all this
Yep.
information. Next thing you know, the work's getting done, so.
I didn't know anything about the contract. I just saw a card to Jeff Mazer addressed the town of Vernon, and when I opened it, it said, you saw the thank you letter, and I called Kelly and I said, who's Jeff Mazer? And she said, he works for the town of Vernon. And I said, well, I've been doing the payroll for the last 5 years. I've never made a dime payment to Jeff Mazer. So she had me talk to the Ray, and you saw the correspondence, but we haven't seen anything.
Then came the handoff.
Well, I just, for the record, I'd like to make a comment again. John Macy's letter here, Madam Clerk, he's telling you what he needs and all this. I'd also need to know how Wisconsin Energy's answered your question before I give an opinion. And I want to put it on the record that I have objection to opinions being paid for. That's about the fourth time I've asked him not to use the word opinion when he's giving legal advice. I want to know what the law is.
Somewhere I read, Karen, that We Energies does not intend to charge the town, correct?
Right.
In his email.
Including restoration costs?
No, he says there's no, the town will not have to pay for the street light.
But they said nothing about the restoration.
Oh, nothing, I mean, there's no response to any of my questions, let alone the culvert.
So we also don't know what their plan is for monthly.
Well, he said in some correspondence, it was 18-something a month.
Yeah, 1873.
But that was being paid by the residents.
Subdivision Association, I believe, is.
We get a group bill, that address might just show up on that bill.
You got it right here.
And, yeah.
Forwarded too.
Because they're billing town of Vernon.
Yep.
You know, I mean, on all the other streetlights that we have.
Yeah, I know.
That might just say, oh, that's town of Vernon, we'll just put it on there.
Well, we just got to watch out for that one, I guess.
Well, my question to you guys is, how do you want to handle this? How direct and tough do you want to be with this guy?
I think in this case, we may want to pay Macy to send him a letter. AT&T a letter, not...
Well, I would think that we should write a letter to the electric company because they didn't have a permit, demand to take them down.
That's one way to get a reaction, I guess.
Well, I think that would get a reaction.
That might get somebody in here to talk to us. Yeah.
And then, along with that letter, in that letter, write that to Mr. Mazar, that we request his appearance at a town board meeting.
Absolutely.
To explain the situation.
How did it
how did this occur without any information?
And the next thing, if none of that works, we call the sheriff and tell him somebody's been frauded, we need investigation. And then Waukesha County Sheriff's Department investigate.
Is Jeff Mazer a resident of that subdivision?
Yeah, he's in that subdivision.
They
at the least we need a record on file with a permit and to make sure that all of that stuff is right.
And doesn't come jumping back to bite us later on.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, somebody's got to take the
There was some...
You know, because it's in our right of way, we're liable for it.
There was a request a couple of years ago, Tom, to put lights at the beginning of that subdivision.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they just circumvented us and just went ahead and did it.
Well, that's what they did.
Yeah.
So I said he came.
Well, they ain't never gonna know.
A couple of years ago, they
I
requested it.
remember that.
They
Came
wanted
to a
put
board
in-
meeting?
Oh, they sent a letter to
They
the
sent a
town.
letter, I think, but I don't think they were here. But
Safety, I know it's got to
That's-
refer to public health and
to
safety.
be
No action on it.
Right.
But we can't do that, otherwise anybody that wants a street,
I
I
know.
want a street light in front of my house.
Yeah.
That would be nice to light my driveway up and this and that, but all the rest of the neighbors wouldn't like that.
Well, I want to put a basketball post in
Yeah.
mine.
But, you know, I mean, we could look like downtown Milwaukee now.
Well, the reason they gave was that the dead area all blacked out over there. The people had problems seeing the entrance to the subdivision.
You wanna live in the city, go live in the city.
Exactly.
Not that way.
We, you know.
Well, I think that's the best way to approach it.
Well, we got three things, we invite him to
Yep.
tell us what happened to the situation, what he did.
Yeah.
We can demand, write a letter to the electric company, say we want them out of our right of way.
Yep.
And, Or
Somebody
we
at the
could call
electric-
the sheriff's department, tell we need an investigation here
We
because
find no record.
nobody's coming up and telling us anything and, it was done without permits.
Somebody at the electric company missed the boat here
All
personally.
we gotta do is tell them, we have no record of an easement, and now
No record or permit.
Now move them.
So what do you wanna do?
I like that.
Well, I'd say wait for the response from the electric company, if they can't get the information.
I don't think you're getting one.
Well, then,
She's been
She's
waiting.
been waiting a week,
Nothing's happened.
I could send an email tomorrow.
and I don't wanna let this go
no, but then I
too
think,
long.
Not
you
till
know,
we get-
then I invite that Jeff Mazur to a town board meeting
Yep.
and see if he can explain the situation.
How did it come about that there's streetlights in the right of way?
Who filled out the permit? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the penalty? Double the cost of the permit after the
I
penalty?
don't even know if we want streetlights in our right of way, but then we're responsible if somebody hits one of them poles or.
Yeah, we gotta replace it.
No,
No,
that's usually,
Or that,
I don't
that's
think-
liability.
Was there even an easement there? Who would have given an easement for anything?
It's not, John
It's in the
issued
right of way.
those.
It's in the setback that.
It's right in front of the stop sign. It's horrible.
No, but I mean, wouldn't the town ordinarily sign off on use
Yes.
of the right of
Yeah.
way as an easement?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A permit, a utility
Utility
permit.
permit.
Who granted that easement?
It's not an easement, he grants a permit.
A permit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't wanna
That's
see
what-
this go
that's
the
what
way
I
it
said.
did
I
in
don't know
Hidden Lakes,
who-
where all of a sudden they put up the lights and then paid the bill, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and says there was an accident near that, and now because we prove it's a public safety issue, will you pick up the bill, and we're paying for that light now, which I objected to, but we're paying the bill
I don't know anything about that.
in Lakes. Is that, well, would that be East Entrance?
I don't know
It
anything
was on
about it.
agenda a couple months ago, we picked up the bill.
I don't know
I
anything
don't
about
mean
it.
either.
Got a letter from them asking us to pick up that bill, and we did.
There was
I
a
thought
sign damage there, I know. But
No, it's,
Like up further than Hidden Lakes, maybe, in that area?
that's the way to approach it.
Yeah, we don't need to take that kind of responsibility again.
No.
So someone would have called Diggers Hotline also, correct?
typically they would, before they do any work.
Well, to me, the electric company is just as much to blame as
Absolutely.
this.
They must have a person that's in charge of making sure all of this paperwork is in and correct before they proceed.
I think we
A
have.
couple times a week I send We Energies permits.
Yeah.
It's always the same woman, or typically, I got a couple different ones.
And the gentleman I talked to was one of the big kahunas. That he said, I might have dropped the ball, I'll have to get back to you.
I might have dropped the ball.
Yeah, he ain't getting back
probably
if
friends
he dropped
with
the
Jeff
ball.
Mazur.
That's on the phone.
You took a hit on your
I thought of that
salary.
too.
For a couple of,
You
well, a
know
couple of
somebody,
streetlights,
yeah.
we got a couple.
Well, what do you wanna do, gentlemen?
Jenkins.
What do you wanna do?
Let's go along with your suggestion.
Yeah.
Send a letter
3 points.
to both the homeowner and to Wisconsin Electric.
Try to get
The homeowner to tell them to come in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wisconsin Electric to tell them to get rid of the.
No, we could also invite that Kenya Jenkins that prepared this apparently. Is that who you talked to, do you know? That's the name on here, prepared by for Wisconsin Electric Company.
You wanna put in there Wisconsin Electric, we want the lights removed because there's no permits?
I wouldn't say removed yet, I'd say let's get some more information first.
A letter saying you're
Let's get
considering,
everything rolling.
what, I got the resident thing, and yeah, I sent a letter to Wisconsin Electric. Do you want me to say that you're thinking of having them take the light? What do you want me to say? Or asking that the town board would like to make a decision and they,
Take
To prevent future town board liabilities, we're considering having them remove the lights from our right of way.
There you go.
I mean, that's why we're looking at it, to avoid future liabilities. The town is looking at having you remove those lights.
If we don't get our questions answered in 7 days, period.
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna be paying an electric bill, that's for sure.
We don't want the hidden bills.
Better not be, yeah. We get the electric bill, look for
And
it.
the third one is if we don't get any real recourse, we'll go to the sheriff's department and make a complaint.
Yeah.
And that's a
Call the
good
sheriff.
idea, because now we're talking fraud.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Somebody's assuming the responsibility.
Somebody's assuming that they were employees.
That's what gets me, I wanna find out
I wanna find out why.
Right.
So this doesn't happen again, so somebody else doesn't
Pull the
pop
thing.
up a light.
Hey, look at those nice lights, let's put them over.
Yeah, find out how this happened, so we can get one of my subdivisions.
Me too.
All right, is that a motion?
Yeah, make the motion.
Oh, go ahead, Eddie.
Go ahead.
We need a motion on that, correct, madam?
Yes, yes.
Is that a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Gary, you just made it, Ed, you have to second it.
Karen, will you just reread it?
Sure, the motion is to authorize, let me just get here, authorize the town clerk to do a formal request to Mr. Mazer to come to the next town board meeting and to send a letter to Wisconsin Electric to ask them for information immediately because the town board is considering to remove the light within 7 days if there is no response. And if there's no response to either of the requests, the town would contact the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department to start an investigation on the issue.
Now, do you want that signed by supervisor and chair?
Can we include the words to eliminate future liability? I think that drives a point home that we don't want any part of this down the road.
Yeah, we could have it signed by everybody.
Well, you know, electric companies got deeper pockets than we got.
No kidding.
We should put in there that we are considering it's your liability because you did not have a permit.
Yeah.
True.
Put that in the record, in the letter.
Yeah.
So you are liable.
Anything that happens, one gets knocked down, up to them. Yeah.
That ought to give a little reaction out of them.
Well, they got deeper pockets than we got.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they're still aware of the bottom line. Cost them $6,000 to put those in. It's gonna cost them a couple thousand to take them back out again, so.
When you start talking liability, you're up the ladder.
Oh,
though,
gosh,
as far as
yeah,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
dealing with.
Absolutely.
It gets out of the fish pond and up to the, big boats.
You read that again, Bill, or?
Pipe boats.
Is that good, Bill?
I think so. We've got the reference to the sheriff in there and liability.
That usually gets their attention.
So you wanna have the supervisor and the chair sign, or just the chair sign it?
Sure, I don't mind signing it.
I'll sign it.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be ready Monday.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That was, she told me about it, Karen told me, I just got the
Yeah.
letter.
Ooh, what?
That is just.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I went up there to look at them, because I had Sunday after.
I did it at night, and it was real visible.
And I thought, what in the world?
They're nice looking lights.
Oh, they are.
Oh, they are,
Yeah.
yeah. That whole subdivision area is kind of pretty.
All right. Item F, job description, interview and hiring process for the town of Vernon, appointed clerk treasurer position. That's on here again, where are we with that?
You said you wanted a job description
Yeah.
that I supplied last time, so Ed went over it and we added the AV stuff. I can put on bug killing also.
For what?
Bug killing.
A bug killer?
Does everybody look at the job description?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, Karen and I went through basically the book she gave us, and virtually everything we were looking for was in there, with possible exception of the advertisement that we put in the paper for hiring. And that was, she gave a new copy of that, I think, on this latest information packet. Thought that was pretty good. Macy's only comment was make sure you refer to the statutes, you know, so. Karen, the only question I'd have, initially, when you gave us first proposal, you said, would you like me to review this for other job responsibilities, I think. I can get you the exact wording because it's in the folder. But you were asking if there was more that we were looking for.
Yes, above and beyond what I currently do.
I'm sorry?
Above and beyond what I currently do.
Yeah.
Or the position.
Yeah.
Is there something more you want that position to do?
Right here with John shorthanded.
I think Vernon catch you too. Catch mice?
No, I don't do mice.
Do you have by any chance-
CDL?
Do you have a
No.
CDL by any chance?
No.
Why? Why not?
My
No,
husband would never let
why
me.
not?
I got a question. Are we gonna put this out for everybody, or are we just going to
Appoint somebody.
appoint somebody?
Well, I think to be on I think we should put it out. It might cost us a few dollars to advertise, but in all fairness, you know, I know Karen would have a leg up and everything because of her being here, but in fairness to her, we should have, I think, put it.
Karen's very adamant she wants to compete, so.
I like to compete.
The tough part would be, how would we evaluate an applicant?
In that new,
They maybe have some.
where did those
academic-
questions to ask in the interview come from?
I didn't read it. Though I forwarded that email.
Yeah.
I honestly did not read that. I forwarded that on to you guys.
Who gave us that?
You'd have to look at the email.
Yeah, I have to look at that. That was some weird questions.
I mean, unless someone came from a very similar background,
That would come close.
education is almost meaningless.
Those are my thoughts, Bill. How, close your ears.
Here, I'll go get a soda.
How do we evaluate somebody, you know what she does, you know her weaknesses, you know how she can get along with the company.
I thought about that. A weird thing came to my mind to say, Karen, have to be in on that to tell you if they know what they're talking about. Because they can tell me they know certain stuff, I wouldn't even know what they were talking about.
How do you be equal and fair to another person when you've got the one you know that's
Can
going to
do
do
everything.
every job sitting there? I don't really want to do that to people.
I kind of jumped
I
the joy
would-
when Macy said you don't have to put it out.
Personally, you can have all the credentials in the world, and if you're not the caliber that we have here, it ain't gonna happen, and I don't know how you gauge that. And we go through that whole process, it's gonna be just a big sham.
It takes a lot of time. You can have 30 people apply to this thing and you'll be here every
Well,
night.
she's learning every day. She's been there 5 years, she's learning every day.
Yeah.
And she just does things because they need doing.
Yeah.
She's not gonna worry
Like,
about what
yeah.
her job description is.
Yeah.
So what happens if we appoint
Yes.
someone and 4, 5, 6 months later, now what do we do?
Yeah, that's not my job, man.
How do you back out of that?
Well, the contract, you just sign a contract.
No, but I mean, now you're starting over or what?
And I think,
Yeah.
it's gonna be, it's the end of June, it's gonna be July. My thoughts would be to at least by November, have her working with the treasurer for tax season.
I think our software is pretty much self-explanatory. I haven't talked to her about it. I don't think she's gonna have to work with the treasurer to figure out what she does.
No, but Karen's gonna have to train people.
Yeah. She's gonna need help. It's not gonna be her alone. She's gonna have
Yeah.
to put some people in there.
But we're getting off the subject here, this is about the clerk. So, my thoughts would be that I don't wanna put somebody thinking they're gonna get a job and, hey, and this and that, when I'm gonna hire the one we got.
Yeah.
You almost have to tell them up front, we're interviewing you, but we have pretty strong input.
Yeah, why do that
You
to
don't much
somebody?
that much of a chief.
Why do that to somebody?
Well, the old saying, if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know. Like, kind of fix it. I'd be in favor of just ignoring the hiring process for the first round at least. You can always implement it if Karen leaves and we have to do something, but,
Right.
you know.
At least we have a good reference if Karen would be gone, of what requirements are and, a good start on it.
Well, then I think with this item on here, and these are my thoughts. Job description, interview, hiring process for the town of Vernon appointed clerk / treasurer position. I would think that, how are we gonna handle that? That we just say we make a motion that we have the person that fits our job description, and we want to forego the other formalities to hire someone, then we're gonna take care of it.
And in the meantime, have her hire someone in a training position for both jobs. It'd be nice to have a fallback position. If you look at ISO, nowadays, everybody's doing ISO. Cross training's an absolute must. I'd buy into that.
What are your thoughts?
No, I agree.
Yeah?
No, I'm gonna disagree on this one. And that's, you know, that's just my personal
For
opinion.
fairness.
I feel to cover our rear ends, we should put it out there for, the general public to apply. I don't think we're gonna get that many applications to begin with. And that would be just my own personal opinion, Tom.
We could just put it out, see who applies, and always send a letter saying the position fulfilled, and
Well,
interview them.
I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion, you know, I know you guys wanna vote whichever way, but I'm just
I
saying.
just wanna get off dead center and start moving ahead.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Bill?
No time, it's a
What do you
wasting.
think?
Yeah, I mean.
Anybody read this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Having
That-
written the job description, which we now have, you know she knows exactly the
Yeah.
ins and outs, and you know she'll go beyond that if something comes up. That's what she's been doing, so. I don't know how we go out there and find someone else right now.
Well,
Since we don't have to do it, do we need to pay to publish in the paper and all that, or can
No.
we just do some postings around?
Post,
Well, post if anywhere we put our normal, do our normal postings like we would an agenda. Notify the public that way rather than pay for articles in the paper. Or put it on the website.
If there's websites or something. that can be posted
Website,
on,
or, yeah, a couple
Everything's
places
already-
like that. Not spend a lot of money on it? What do you think?
well, we have the job description now.
Yeah, it's here. I changed a little of the wording.
I'll tell you one thing, you look at that job description, I wouldn't take that job.
Wouldn't take it a minute. Nope.
No, it's,
Like I said,
Well, the item F says job description. Interview and hiring process for the town of Vernon appointed clerk treasurer position. Do you want to interview her right now?
can we do that right now?
Well, it says, interview and hiring process.
Sure. Check it off.
she wrote it, I'm sure
Or
there's nothing
do
on
you
here.
want to say, we got the job description, next board meeting, we're gonna do the interview and the hiring.
Yeah.
That'll be 2 weeks from now.
You may not get a response,
We'll
so
just
that's
drop
fine.
the job description, and we'll put interview and hiring of the town of Vernon appointed clerk treasurer.
I have no problem with that, but Gary, you want one more time, I think.
I could live with that, you know.
Okay.
Okay, we should have a motion on this, huh?
Where is she?
Yeah.
Karen,
Come on back.
She's making up the list of all the other things she does. This'll take a week.
She says, I don't want this job
I
anymore.
was watching on TV, no,
We called.
there's someone.
You'll
at
be
the
able to
door
see it
who wants
tomorrow.
that job
You'll be able to listen
very
to it tomorrow on YouTube.
I was watching in John's office, no, I'm kidding.
First, you're trying to sign up for your job.
Did you guys make
Oh,
any, did you guys make any motions?
No, we're
Okay.
waiting
But
for.
we're gonna
ready to.
make one now. We're gonna
Okay.
move, I make a motion to approve the job description and to the next meeting in July, have the interview and hiring process for the appointed clerk treasurer's position.
Have the you mean have the dates?
Hold it.
Oh,
Hold the interview with our number one candidate.
You're about to get interviewed.
okay.
But in the meantime, in the 2 weeks, what, can you post it somewhere?
Website, all the places you normally
Yep.
post, the
Yeah.
post office.
Clerks
and the fire
Association.
department.
It's gonna put a limitation in regard to the time frame, but if anybody's seriously interested,
You mean you want to get the applications all within 2 weeks?
Yep.
yep.
Wow.
Well, you know where we're headed here, you know. it's-
Well, I'm going to send it to university. I mean, I know where to send it.
Yeah.
Because no, I know, but you want to look for. I know where to go.
Okay,
We'll get it out there right away.
thank you.
Is
Do we
there a
assume,
second?
Karen, that you have then provided the additional duties that you mentioned in your first letter to us?
I'm sorry. Did I?
In your letter of 4/30/2018, the wording was, would you like me to provide the additional duties I do as town clerk that are normally not part of the clerk's position?
And that's what I
The
did.
answer was yes, because a lot of that was picked up during us taking over our own zoning and everything.
And what I gave you is statutorily, which is in our ordinance. Our ordinances mirror the
Right.
state statute for a clerk and a treasurer. What I did is all the things that are above and beyond a clerk or a treasurer.
So we've had that information
Yep.
somewhere in this packet then?
Yes, and the
Okay.
2 pages that precede, that's it, right there. The thing that Gary's got, that you and I went through,
This one right there.
Oh, it's under this one. Okay.
yes,
That's the,
yes. So when,
Thank you.
that's gonna be on
Wanted to make
the,
sure.
that'll be posted. Because they need to know that they'll have to do that.
yeah. And we discussed that, I thought that was.
Is there a
was
second?
question, some of it. Okay, you need a
Is there a
motion. You made a
second?
motion?
I made a
Second.
motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Gotta find my place in the agenda.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
okay if I leave?
Oh, John, we're gonna miss you. You little,
Do you have anything else to
No, no,
contribute
no.
or make a report or anything?
No
When's our
report.
teaching gonna start, John?
We've been,
I
doing,
see the signs up.
we've been doing the culverts. We got the culverts done. We're gonna, start doing ditching next week, so
Okay.
just kinda cleaning it up and getting ready. The 9th, July 9th, they're gonna start saw cutting driveways, and the 16th, pulverizing,
Okay.
middle of July.
Yeah, we send letters out. I think Karen sent the letters out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Bye, John.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Item
evening,
G,
John.
Temporary Class B retail license, West Ellis, training camp up event for August 25th, 26th.
Mr. Chairman and Town Board members, this is something the Kennel Club does annually. We've never had any problems with it. Everything's in order. All fees have been paid. So I'm looking for approval from the Town Board.
I'll make a motion to accept the temporary application for temporary Class B retail license for
West Ellis.
West Ellis Training Camp Club.
For August 25th and 26th,
Yeah, do we
2018.
need to name the person? Oh, that's the next one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, those dates.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded for approval. All those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Bartender operator license for Perry Limberotas?
Limberotas, Peter.
Rotas? Peter.
Mr. Chairman and Town Board members, everything is in order for this operator's license. All fees have been paid. Background check has been done. It came out perfect. The petitioner currently carries a current certification, so everything is in order for your approval.
Make a motion to approve the operator's license for Peter Limber.
You guys are so...
I'll second it.
See, I never made it as an announcer for the football games.
Oh.
It
Any
stoned me.
more discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of wage for new deputy clerk at $15 an hour and summer college student at $10.50 per hour.
Mr. Chairman and town board members, I do have one deputy. As you know, all my my deputies are all part-time. Some are extremely part-time, and one of my part-time members is actively looking and trying to help that person find full-time employment because that person needs. So the goal is to get that person employed full-time with benefits. So I told that person if they've got to leave on a moment's notice, I understand. So that's an issue. Then I have another deputy that's going to be leaving in September, and I do have some work that I'm kind of down on staff right now, but I really don't want to hire a full-time person until one or two of these people leave. But I'd like to hire a college student with some of the files I'd like to scan. They're important files. I'd hate to lose that information, but file them, scan them, because my goal is to create a library for any board member, a private library. My goal is some of that information, be nice to have it on the website if it's any assistance to our residents. But that's the reason for the college student. It'd just be July and part of August, not a full-time position, just a seasonal part-time person.
Has to be someone who's non-claustrophobic, because they're going to be in the vault.
I know, isn't that horrible? That's our tornado shelter also.
Yeah.
Move over.
If you don't get out there, you
Those DPW guys don't give you much room.
Especially if Kurt comes in there.
We never went in there with them. Man, that would be fun.
Karen, you've been doing scanning, or having people do the scanning for quite some time. How far are we along?
Yeah.
We have all the old stuff up. Now what we're going through is in Vince's, this would be from 2000, the current is probably 2009 all the way up. So now we're into the files that the county did the zoning permits and we issued the building permits. So we're just starting that.
Would you say that volume's equal to what was done in the past? Double?
I think it's
Less?
equal to
Equal?
a lot of
Would that take
documents.
2 summers to basically get
Oh,
that?
yeah. That was just for plan commission.
Or is it even longer than that?
So whenever there's downtime, and if we ever need a workers' comp, I've got scanning that people, I've got jobs. So that, just so you know, I'm not asking for something that's not in my budget, but I'd hate to not have the authority to hire someone. And as you know, it doesn't depend on, that's my starting wage for a deputy clerk.
Yeah.
But for the seasonal part-time college student, that would just be $10.50.
You need a motion for this?
Yes.
Okay. I move we approve the proposed clerk office wages as presented.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, board members.
Correspondence, announcements, I don't have any.
I have nothing.
I just have a couple of comments in regard to telephone calls, and I just want to reaffirm that we did talk to the residents this evening, but I did have some calls from them prior to the meeting tonight, and they were all adamantly opposed to what was going on, so I was not surprised to see them there. I informed them they should come, make their comments public, and would proceed from there. We also I've been working with John in regard to the crowbar issue. John's come up with a couple of recommendations that he's going to try and tackle in regard to ditching up there, some way to maybe, since Muskego will not do any further work in that ditch area, John's looking to possibly help out in regard to some ditching that can be done. So I've just got to find out if we may have to run that past John Macy to find out if we legally can go in there on what supposedly is Muskego's property. So that's down the road a little bit, but I'll touch base with you, Tom, and see how you want to proceed with that. But other than that, that's about it.
Well, Gary, didn't you want to do a commercial for public health and safety?
Oh, yeah, Public Health and Safety will meet next Monday at 6:30 here at the Town Hall.
And you're looking for?
Looking for another candidate to join the Public Health and Safety Committee, since we've lost one, but we're at 4. We should be in an odd number, and that would be 5 people, so.
So Len is gone. Len is gone. Len is gone?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Good?
I probably had the same volume of calls as Gary did. I did promise to make a comment on the one that Karen discussed that sent us the email. I didn't follow through on that because all the discussion that took place I thought was ample. He was represented by quite a few of his neighbors there, so I think we've accomplished what he was after as well. Yeah, we'll go into the other stuff later.
Bill?
I was contacted by this Ron Martin regarding the parking sign issue as well. The other thing was I was contacted by someone in Ridgeview Estates. That's back in behind,
Rolling Meadows.
thank you, Rolling Meadows, I'm not thinking of it. The issue was he came in with his proposed elevation and a change of elevation proposal, wanting to raise his elevation by 2 feet from the thing that raises question with me is a lot of our subdivisions have grading plans, not all of them, but a lot of them do. There's a grading plan there. He proposed to raise the elevation by 2 feet from the grading plan to allow for a walkout basement. And I did not look at the lot, but apparently he's the second lot in from Rolling Meadows, and his elevation is fairly high. So I have no authority to do anything about it, but he came complaining to me, and I called Vince, and Vince was very good. He responded. I met him over by my office, and I said, Vince, how does this work? We've got subdivision grading plans in existence. How does someone just say, well, I want to do this or that without spilling water on the neighbor by raising elevation? Vince's response was, well, we have a policy that if there's a request like that to vary from the grading plan, that we run it past our engineer, and he determines if there's going to be any adverse problems on other properties. So, okay, I called this fellow back and told him I talked to Vince, and he appreciated all that, but I guess maybe this has to go on maybe a regular agenda, or maybe just a staff meeting agenda. I'm just kind of curious, do we have an actual policy where someone can do this? Just say, hey, I'm going to change my elevation, and then our one engineer decides whether that's appropriate or not. Do we want that to be happening? Vince says that's kind of a policy right now. So, I'm building a new home, subdivision has a grade plan, and I say, well, I want to, mainly the problem comes in raising an elevation, not lowering. So I want to raise my elevation 2 feet, because I don't quite have a walkout basement. And then if the engineer approves that and says, well, you're not adversely affecting your neighbors, it looks good, then we can go ahead and do that. So I'm kind of wondering, where are we going to draw these lines?
And if it does create a problem, like,
No, that's another issue. You know, in Rolling Meadows, probably 2 years ago, we had an issue with an elevation. There was a drainage easement between two properties. And I believe there was an issue there because one of the homes, the elevation was higher.
Kurt, that used to be on the board.
Oh.
I can't think of his last name, but anyway, he had a problem with that.
Okay.
In his neighborhood, where one of the neighbors raised
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the drainage took place.
So in the older subdivisions, we didn't have grading plans. And on CSMs and random lots, we don't have grading plans, but some of our newer stuff does. So where do we as a board stand on that? So I'm kind of thinking.
Well, do you want to put it as an agenda item?
I'm sorry?
You want to put it as an agenda item so we can talk about
I
it?
think so. Or if you think a staff is better than the agenda, I don't know.
Yeah, because you want to see,
Vince's
there's
input.
lots of these, Tom. Lots.
Vince kind of put it as if this has happened before and it gets.
A lot.
Oh, okay.
A lot.
And this fellow talked to you too, didn't he? Or no? Okay. So I wasn't aware of this. I thought, here's your grading plan, you follow it to a T. It's not happening. So now he's got neighbors that are irate.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He's got an engineering approval to do it.
Well, I don't think the engineer ought to give me approval. I think that you come to the town board and let the town board give you approval. Well, not even the plan commission.
No? Right past them?
Yeah, because you're dealing with liabilities.
And why was
My
that?
question,
and
why,
why was that original
Exactly.
grading plan set the way it was? I mean, this is a reason for it. So, and these aren't dead flat lots, they're
Growing,
elevation.
yeah.
They're changing all over.
Up to the staff meeting with that.
Well,
So, interesting discussion, but, so Karen, you say this has happened quite
what are
a
we
bit?
gonna do at the staff meeting? We're gonna put an agenda item, we're hear Macy's opinion. He ain't gonna give a state stat on that, and then what are we gonna do with it? We'll put it on the agenda, let's just cut Macy out, let's put it on the agenda item. Figure out what we're gonna do with
Can live with
it.
that.
I'll be able to get his opinion, sure.
and get a state
because-
statute assigned to that opinion.
Yeah, while we do that.
And you should invite Vince.
Pardon?
Vince would be a great resource for you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Do that then? Put it
Put
on
it
the
on the
agenda?
agenda item, yeah.
But I appreciate that, Vince was right on top of it,
Yeah.
got back to me within 2 hours, and, but I thought
Tough
about this
question.
afterward, like, is this a precedent, or what are we doing?
No, people are doing it all the time. Have somebody in our subdivision that's dumped 4 or 5 truckloads of dirt on this property.
Well, that's illegal.
That's illegal, he's
I
only
think-
allowed
I think
15
Vince is on
yards,
top
or
of it.
10 yards, whatever, that's it.
I think Vince has been in contact with them.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Madam Clerk, report.
Very briefly, I did talk to Spectrum in regards to those cable. You have to have a partner to apply for broadband grants, and just so you know, the town of Vernon, the grant applications are due July 1st, so we missed the deadline. You have to partner with, and I did talk to Celeste, we are going to partner with them next year to see what type of, we'll find out more about the program, but you can't even get the money unless you have a partner. And the partner has to be from Spectrum or AT&T, or
Oh, I
both.
thought you meant adjoining town or, no?
No, you have to have a partner
Within that,
in the cable industry.
Who would be installing it then?
Right, so I'll keep you, I mean, nothing's going to happen this year, but I'll keep you abreast. And the only other thing I wanted to ask the board is I'm going to pass out to you a bond schedule. And I wanted you to look at, not that you answer me now, but the highlighted yellow parts in the bond schedule. Right now, whenever there's a citation issued, I arbitrarily put the $100 on, and I really would like your input on, some of these should be much, when it says $100, they're really getting a citation for $263.50. But I'd like you to look at some of the citations that they issue. Some of them are much more significant than the others. Would just like your opinion on a starting range for a bond schedule for writing citations.
does this go to the dog bite issue, or?
Yes.
So you want to put that as an agenda item next time?
Yep, but I'll just pass it out for homework. Oops,
Homework.
homework.
You should put on there, homework.
Homework. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Finance. Accounts payable.
Well, Mr. Chairman, if you could just, the electric bill was missing an amount. It was It's in, if you see the bill, the 158.82 was not indicated on the electric bill. On that bill, there's all little spots where you pay this department. So, when...
For the new streetlight?
Yeah. No. But,
Are you sure?
that 158.82, yes, it's not, I'll tell you exactly. It would change the accounts payable to 64,846.49. And I'll tell you exactly what it's for, sorry.
I had a question, Karen, on check 64210, Citizens Bank, family payment for HSA.
Yes. Tyler went from a single family, he's now in a family plan. So any person that has a family premium got $1,300, and single family, people that had single family had $1,000. So his wife, right. So and it's always made out to the bank and the person.
If you were looking for that reference number, 64348, Karen, is that what you're looking for the 158?
Yeah, it's a town. It's our
64348.
Yeah, and it's.
Do you have a question?
Well, I had this test Connor repping, or I don't know if I remember.
Well, I'm missing the sheet.
I could not come up with $50, and I'm just looking for it. I thought I had it stuck in here, so I find
I have no copy of 64339 for Tess Connor for $50. I don't even have a sheet.
That's the one right there.
You don't have it either?
No. I thought I had one or two pages, but it did not come up to $50.
No, I had the one before,
Okay.
which had
This is,
110.
yeah.
The two of them were,
64339, correct.
Say no, I have no copy.
We will have to void the $50 payment.
Okay, so that doesn't exist?
No, that one will be voided.
Okay.
Do you have the receipts for the 110? All
Yeah.
5? Okay.
Yeah, that was fine.
840.
And then Karen, I was writing something, you were talking about re-energies before, multiple invoices, check 64348.
Yeah, you can see the check, the authorization is for 1,900, I gotta flip my page here, 228, and if you look at the breakdown, it's missing a Town of Vernon charge for our bill for 158.82.
Okay.
So the bill should actually match, so it was actually shorted the electric company. It's
Okay.
mainly for they didn't get a permit. No, I'm kidding. No, so.
That's all I had.
Any other questions?
And I just wanted to let you know, I did ask the chief for his receipts, and I'm just marking when I don't get them, just when the auditor says anything, at least we tried.
I don't know if anybody else looked at that. I brought it to Karen's attention. I walked in and said, I refuse to pay this.
Yeah.
I've got a receipt I can't read a single thing on. And he's telling her to learn how to go into his system and get copies of this stuff, which is not her job. It's the chief's job to provide her an invoice that's readable by the town board. If we're gonna authorize the payments,
Right.
I'd like to know what the totals are, and you can't read a single item on that
And
invoice.
I thought he was gonna start texting her, at least, when he's leaving Menards, text her the receipt or something.
That's what I thought too.
Scan it, wherever.
Well, and I opened that in front of Matt and because I always open up his stuff in front of my other deputies, because I always get accused of losing his receipts.
Yeah. this problem just doesn't seem to go away.
It's awful tired.
We need to discuss it again, I think. But sticking with what we got in here for this batch, I'm not gonna make an issue of it right now, but I do wanna make it clear that next time we get something like that, I won't approve the invoice. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not approving it if I can't read it.
So if we take off that $50 to that voided check, the accounts payable, oh shoot,
That comes to $64,796.49.
correct, that's what I have too.
So I'd like to approve the APs in the amount of $64,796.49 for batch 2018-0621 with the corrections.
Just read that number once more, would you?
$64,796.49.
Gotcha. I'll second
Oh, my math was good.
it. Assumptions.
Any more discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Sharon, did everybody get a copy of this one this time?
Yeah, and I put that in there, Supervisor Moline was asking for a different variation. And if board members want them done, I can do your monthly reports however you want to see them. I know, the ones that we currently put in, that's the one that Tom likes to see, and the board members are used to seeing that. But, oh, it does years, it does a lot. Lots.
This was interesting to read once, but there's too much detail for me. I mean, I start picking at this when I see it, and I don't want to spend any time picking it. This one says the same basic thing.
Yes.
In, only in a briefer form.
Different form.
Yeah, it's
So I personally, I'd pass on this one.
But are there any questions on the financial statement?
I'm sorry?
If you ever have any questions or want to see detail,
You can always go get it.
yep, my office is open, we've got the bills right there. Sound good?
Yep.
And there is no manual checks, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So, do we vote on that? Moved and seconded? All
You
those
need
in
a motion
favor?
to not get that one?
I don't know if you voted, I know there's a motion made and
We didn't
seconded.
account- We need to finish that accounts payable.
Well, accounts payable we did, right?
We didn't vote on it, did we?
No.
No, you,
No.
I made a motion.
yep, and it
Bill
was seconded,
seconded.
so yep.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. There are no manual checks. Financial statements, any comments, corrections, questions?
Sorry, I ran over you. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay. Approval of the minutes, June 7th, 2018.
Is that you? No, that's okay. Oh, okay. It collapsed. I'm gonna find it.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to tell the board on the very last page in the motion where it was seconded by Bill Craig, on the final minutes, there's an indentation where it says the clerk read the roll call vote. It's not part of the motion because the attorney said you didn't do the roll call vote, so it was, but it was in the motion, so we split that out in the formal. I didn't send them to you because it was just an indentation.
Sharon, on the very first one, public comments. Mark Moraine stated that the town of Vernon did not accept the negotiated rate of insurance. Did we
That's what he stated.
discuss that during the meeting and make a motion of any? I thought we did.
No, that was under public comments, and
Do we
that's
have
what.
to put that on another agenda and make it official that everybody said, no, we're not gonna?
No, that's his statement. He made that statement that the town, he was stating to the board that the town of Vernon doesn't accept the insurance company. That was his statement.
And he wouldn't pay it.
And he said he's not gonna, he did say, I'm not gonna pay it.
Yeah. Do we need to have any action on it or just let it go?
It was a public comment. You can't act.
It's just public comment.
See where it goes.
Well, if we feel there's an action needed, So we bring it up as an agenda item.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But, yeah,
It'll be on the-
I'm asking
it'll
as
end
an
up
agenda
on the
item.
agenda
for
for
that,
What
I
he,
guess.
what he says, and
Yeah.
there's nothing to meet, I don't think we need to act on it, because how do we know if he's gonna pay it or not? He might just say, I'm not paying it, and then he pays it.
So it ends up on
Then
the
we'll
So
agenda.
it ends up on,
Aging report.
Yeah, the aging
report.
report, and then we'll deal with it, huh? Okay, I just, one question. On page 4, at the bottom, DPW first pickup is complete. There was question if scouts were gonna finish the Eagle Scout project at Vernon 1 and the Town Hall Garden. And actually, I remember Supervisor 2, Gary, was going to discuss this with the troop leader and come back with information, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a hold of them?
Not really. The reason I was up there was to present a plaque for Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I forgot, I never thought about it.
I did text the mother of the Eagle Scout project here, and that's all weeded.
They
I
did take
texted
care of
her.
this? Someone-
Yeah, I sent the mother a text.
Oh, it's done?
It's
good.
done.
Mom
Then
coming.
you
Yeah.
don't have to talk to anybody.
I said the mother, hey,
Yeah, there you go.
that one's done.
Thank you.
That's all I had.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion then to approve the proceedings for the Town of Vernon Board of Supervisors, June 7th, as written, I guess.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next meeting date, Town Board, July 5th,
Yay.
after the 4th. Public comments. I'd just like to make a comment that there are no fireworks permits issued for the town of Vernon that I have issued. There are none. So if anybody's shooting fireworks off and they're becoming bothersome to anybody, call the sheriff's department and have them issue a citation. Other than that, have a great 4th of July. Be safe.
Thank you.
All right, next meeting date, 5th of July, 2018, 6 o'clock. Public comments. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Record show no public comments. Motion to go into closed session. Consideration of possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin Stat 19.85, Pren 1, Pren E. Deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, more specifically negotiating for an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Big Bend for EMS and fire services. Included in the closed session are Vernon supervisors, Vernon town clerk. Motion requires a roll call vote. I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
Chairman Thomas Byrd.
Yes.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Yes.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Yes.
Supervisor Ed Moline.
Yes.
Supervisor Bill Craig.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll note for the record that the town board voted unanimously to go into closed session.
Go into closed session at 4:17.
4:17?
8:17. 8:17.
Boy, that was a long meeting.
17.
I'll take those 4 hours.
You guys are looking.